I've been blessed that I have a faucet of creativity that I turn on and off when I as needed. So when I go to write a book like Frats, it's a novel, it's available. And I just go in that zone and turn on that faucet and start creating. When I go to write a screenplay, I start creating. I've written musicals, I start creating. When I write songs, I usually work off of I don't write anymore, song wise, that is. I used to keep a list of titles, of song titles for inspiration. And I would have my song titles and I would get my tape recorder, handheld usually, and I would just look at a song title and get inspiration from the title. That Twisted Sisters, we're not going to take it. Stay Hungry album, our biggest selling album. I wrote in 45 minutes, essentially wrote the entire record. My wife was going out to this. My son was asleep in the crib. My wife went out to go to the grocery store. And I said, okay, I got a few minutes. Wouldn't say turn on the faucet. I look at it now like that and work on some song ideas. Put a bunch of ideas on tape, and they're like these are little bits and pieces, but usually the whole song, but not every word. And when she came back after 45 minutes, she said, how's it going? I said, I think I got some good ideas for the new record. And every song from Stay Hungry was on there, except The Price, which I had written in Jimmy Page's bathroom while we were recording You Can't Stop Rock and Roll. But that's another story. So I Want to Rock was in there, and We're Not Going to Take It was in there, those two songs. And I knew that these were hits. Now, I Want to Rock, I'd become, like anything, people, was talking about writing songs for the band from the early days. JJ manages Twisted Sister now. He's constantly with a Tupac Shakur of heavy metal. He keeps coming up with new albums to put out. I'm going, oh my God, where do you find that tape and this tape? And I listen back on some of my early songs. I go, oh, no wonder we didn't get a record deal. Those were terrible songs, But now, at this point, I put in my time and I was getting pretty good at crafting. And I got in my mind that this is 1983. I'm writing for Stay Hungry album, or 82, whatever, because I always wrote it ahead of time. I got in my mind that if I could combine the Iron Maiden Gallop with an anthem, with an anthemic sing-along song, and Slade is my inspiration when it comes to anthemic songs. But if I could combine that metallic, that Maiden, so I remember with I Want to Rock sitting there going, doing the Maiden Gallop, and then and all of a sudden I just was off the races, and I got to the end of that. I stopped the recorder for a second to move on to the next song idea, and I go, well, I think that was pretty good, and then I keep moving. Later on, I'd go through maybe 25, 30 ideas that I had recorded in the 45 minutes and sift through, narrow it down to 15, 20, and then the band, we demo those, and then the band would vote on which 10 they like best. The band and the crew and management, everybody would vote. And I Want to Rock was in that batch. But it was actually like I told Clive Burr when he was in Desperado with me, I said, dude, I got to be honest, man. I Want to Rock. I said, that was your groove, man. It was the Clive Burr Gallop, which Patton applied for, baby. He created that sort of feel. Him and Steve for Iron Maiden. That defined the band. Poor Clive, he very much felt he didn't get the credit he deserved because his name wasn't listed as a songwriter. But he would talk about being in the studio in rehearsals, and Steve starting to play that, like the groove for Run to the Hills, and him very creatively coming up with that very unique, that boom boom boom, that Indian drum beat, which sort of defined the song.
Yeah.
And then it becomes Run to the Hills, which is about the American Indians, but it really started with, doom, 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 doom. But that doesn't sound like an Indian thing. Or you start putting doom, doom, da, doom, doom, da. And you start putting those drum beat that Clive did. And Clive felt very, very hurt that he never wasn't really appreciated because, Nico, God love him, great guy, great drummer, basically just continued with Clive, what Iron Maiden defined themselves as in those first three records that just continue on. And you look where Nico comes from, he wasn't playing that style with Pat Travers. He wasn't playing that style with the bands he was with before. He's a journeyman drummer. But when he joined Maiden, he goes, okay, I got to be a Maiden drummer. Well, that was the Clive Burr groove, man.